The film begins with a man named James sitting in a chair in a pink room, appearing incredibly depressed. He looks around the kitchen for food, but there's nothing in the refrigerator and no water coming from the faucet. Just as fog starts to creep into the room, James falls to his knees in despair. A happy man named Buddy shows up a little while later carrying soda and fried chicken. James accepts his offer of food and they start eating together with great anticipation. Buddy informs James that he can always be relied upon and that he has always been there for him. It turns out that everything was a dream and that James is genuinely asleep in the scene that follows when we watch everything being captured by a machine. It is disclosed that the film takes place in 2035, a year in which the government has extended taxes to citizens' dreams and people's dreams are documented. To add up the tax expenditures, James, one of the dream auditors, must go around the United States. This entails giving any significant dream content, like hot air balloons, buffaloes, or dandelions, a value and charging appropriately. James then shows up to Captain Kelly's Chicken, a drive-thru, and orders a bucket of chicken. In addition to offering a strange chicken shake, the speaker even recommends paying $1 to upgrade the bucket. James declines the chicken shake but consents to upgrade the bucket. He hesitates for a second but then decides to ask for the shake as well. Later, we see James having his meal in the parking lot when he abruptly turns to see an unfamiliar figure standing in front of his car covered in green grass. James becomes frightened and flees as the man instantly disappears. James leaves the city after hours of driving and finally reaches Strawberry Mansion, a suburban home in a secluded location. An elderly woman named Bella answers the door when he knocks, sporting vibrant headdresses and wires that blink. Since she has no tax records, James identifies himself as a tax auditor and explains that he is coming to perform an assessment. Bella asks him to lick an ice cream cone before extending a kind invitation for him to enter. James initially objects to the request since he thinks it is odd, but he eventually gives in. Bella then leads James inside where he confronts her about her background and line of work. He also discovers that she has VHS tapes with all of her dreams on them. Bella casually replies that she is outdated and might have lost her sense of time when he asks why she has not updated the recordings to the new format, which was required 7 years ago. James is astonished when he discovers a vast room full of vibrant VHS cassettes when Bella is making tea. When he inquires about her cassette collection, Bella replies, she has over 2,000. Given that the audit may take days, James asks her to choose a motel in the area. However, Bella advises that he remain in her pet turtle, Sugar Baby's chamber. After initially refusing, James finally gives in to the elderly woman's persistent demands. Bella then shows James his room and lets him finish his work. When he unpacks, we see an odd, large headpiece that he will use to see Bella's dreams. The scene quickly shifts to an open field as he plays one of her videos. There, in the form of a translucent blue hologram, James spots a little Bella playing with a caterpillar in the distance. Soon after, an elderly man shows in and Bella rushes to embrace him because he is her father. They encounter a wounded buffalo while out on a walk. Although her father reassures her that nothing really dies, Bella fears that the buffalo will perish. In the actual world, James takes off the helmet and makes notes about his observations. He is startled to discover the identical dandelion from the dream in his mouth. He later listens to another tape that shows a young Bella at a cemetery playing a violin. Shortly after, her late husband's skeleton emerges from the tomb, plays the saxophone, and dances. When Bella meets the grassman, the same person James saw earlier in real life, he is taken aback. Before long, James is back in reality, and when he takes off the helmet, Bella is sitting on the bed, observing him. She claims that she just observed he was smiling as she was observing him at work. James, however, becomes irritated and informs her that he would rather work alone. After offering him meals and apologizing, the elderly woman eventually exits the room. Later, James sees a fly stuck in a spider web while he is attempting to watch TV. The fly starts talking and warns James that he is in danger and that he is running out of time. James is asked to dream of it by the fly, but he exits the room believing it to be a hallucination. James sees the same fly caught in a spider web in his dream later that night when he is back in the pink room. He makes an unsuccessful attempt to remove the webs with a broom. Buddy shows up out of nowhere and gives him a product that repels spiders. James is about to answer the door when someone knocks, but Buddy stops him and walks to the door himself. A woman outside begs frantically to see James, but Buddy will not let her in. Telling James it was merely a delivery of chicken from Kelly's Chicken, he closes the door on her. In the following scene, James observes another of Bella's visions in which her younger self is by herself at a peaceful nighttime French restaurant. They engage in cordial conversation as a waiter wearing a frog's head takes her order. James sits in front of her, watching intently in his hologram form. He sees chicken on nearly every table, but the bucket is immobile and out of view. James and older Bella are enjoying dinner in the real world when he starts experiencing unusual feelings and hallucinations. Bella encourages him to stay and have more wine, but he says he will head to his room. He sees little Bella at that precise moment, and she tells him she must see him immediately. James asks elder Bella about the bucket of chicken in her dream, which he was unable to see, since he fears he is going insane. She admits that it was most likely due to the bucket's improper placement. She then asks him whether he thinks that nothing should be shared without someone's permission and that people's dreams are private. James concurs. Bella then goes to her room and returns shortly after with the colorful wire-covered headpiece. She discloses that she and her spouse created it jointly, and the advertisements vanish when they wear it. Bella explains to James that a number of advertising agencies sneak advertisements into people's dreams because it makes money for them. She claims he should have known because he observes everyone's dreams, but James does not trust her. James is then given the headpiece so he can test it out for himself. After putting on the headpiece that evening, James goes to bed and starts having weird dreams. He tries to squeeze toothpaste from an empty tube in the pink room at one point. It is Buddy who knocks on the door at that precise moment. Showing him a tube of toothpaste, Buddy says it will keep him fresh and last all day. Buddy tells James that Bella is insane and cautions him not to believe her when he brings up what she said. Now, despite Buddy's objections, James answers the door when someone else knocks. Then a fog suddenly forms and little Bella enters the room. The pink walls abruptly disappear as she and James exchange smiles. James discovers that dozens of people are wearing tape in an open grassy area. When he awakens and exits his room in the real world, he sees someone covered in tape who quickly vanishes. James then seeks out Bella and inquires as to what he should do with the headpiece, to which she coolly replies that it is up to him. Bella answers that she wanted someone to share her dreams with when he wonders why she brought him here. After giving him a unique VHS video, she confesses that they are more connected than he realizes. When James, wearing the headgear, wakes up the following morning and rushes downstairs to find Bella, he is horrified to discover her already dead and lying unconscious on a chair. He notifies the authorities right away. Shortly afterward, paramedics show up and remove her body. In order to cope, a depressed James then handles menial chores around the mansion. He feeds the animals, makes multiple phone calls, and even looks after Sugar Baby. After that, he stealthily packs his things, including Bella's unique tape. James finally puts the headpiece on Bella's bed and gets ready to leave the house. In a flashback, Bella tells James that she has a kid named Peter, but they do not get along while they are eating lunch together. It is because Peter adopted his father's traits and her first spouse was a wicked man. Bella tells James that her second spouse was a dream and that they had a great life together when he inquires about how he was doing. The doorbell rings in the present, and as James answers it, he sees a stranger standing there. Without hesitation, the man enters and identifies himself as Peter, Bella's son. He claims that Bella's death was inevitable and expresses little grief over his mother's passing. Peter cautions James not to accept whatever his mother says, and tries to show him that she was a crazy person. Peter mentions that his wife and son will be arriving shortly and extends an invitation for James to remain for supper as he becomes anxious. After that, James enters a grassy field and plays the rare VHS that Bella gave him. Then he sees the grassman and young Bella hanging around together, seemingly in love. Peter interrupts the grass guy and invites him to dinner before he can identify him. James meets Peter's son Brian and wife Martha at the dinner table, and both appear to be impolite. Peter then dispatches his son and wife to sort through his mother's possessions. When they are alone, Peter asks James if he has discovered anything intriguing in Bella's dreams. He also inquires as to whether James's work here is finished and what the procedure is in such circumstances. James asserts that the audit must still be completed and that he must inform his supervisors of this. James, feeling more and more uneasy, goes to the music room and finds Martha and Brian trashing all the tapes. They just committed a federal felony, he angrily informs them, and he will report it to his superiors. James then rushes to his room, where he watches Bella's tape again and discovers that she is hugging the grass guy. James is startled to discover that the grass man is actually him as young Bella wipes the grass from his face. However, Peter approaches him from behind and uses a bat to knock him unconscious before he can see anything else. James starts having odd and vivid nightmares as Peter drags his body. He wanders outside where Peter is wearing a wolf's head after realizing he is bleeding from the head. James is running in terror when he sees Martha downstairs, who appears to be a witch. The three of them close in to attack, and Brian has also gone insane. Young Bella grabs James as he hurries upstairs and drags him into a cupboard. Bella tells James to close his eyes and go swimming as the madmen get closer. Young Bella and James swim together in the sea as the scene abruptly changes to a sunny beach. After exchanging happy grins, a surreal montage depicts them living contentedly and happily on the island while consuming bananas and coconuts. As they spend their days dancing, laughing, and gradually falling in love, the two seem genuinely content. One day, though, as they are hanging out together, James's head begins to bleed unexpectedly, and a fleeting hologram of Buddy with an advertisement for an antiseptic medicine appears. Bella tells James in a panic that he must leave because they are attempting to murder him since he is aware of the advertisements. She discloses that her son Peter, who serves as the CEO of a sizable advertising firm, is not pleased with her headpiece. James is urged by Bella to leave right away, but he becomes sidetracked when many buddies show up and try to sell him various goods. In the actual world, Peter is dragging James to bed as we watch him gradually come to. Thus, Peter uses the bat to knock him unconscious once more. In the dream world, James awakens to find himself on a ship manned by two human-sized pirate rats. When Peter inquires about Bella, they say they do not know. Over time, Peter takes over as the ship's new captain. He frantically looks for Bella with the rats as his crew, but he is unsuccessful. 7 years go by in this manner. James continues to believe that she is out there someplace, even as the rats start to doubt the purpose of the entire endeavor. In the real world, Peter makes the decision to burn down the house and murder James, who is unconscious before his family departs. An enormous blue demon, a massive humanoid creature with horns and a blue mask looking like a skull, presents James and his rats with an unexpected menace in his dreams. The demon overwhelms James and his group as they attempt to battle him, even attempting to toss their ship. James eats dinner with the Blue Devil that night. He is shocked when Bella shows there and reveals herself to be the demon's slave puppet. Her spirit seems broken as she is confined to a pillar behind the demon with a collar. James and Bella look at one another as they eat, but they act as though they do not know one another. The demon peacefully falls asleep after supper, which allows James to take his keys. Bella is swiftly set free by him, and the two of them sneak out without rousing the monster. After a while, they make their way to the shore after jumping into the sea. After spending some enjoyable time together, Bella becomes concerned and tells James he has to go. She tells him that if he does not wake up, he will die since the home is burning in the real world. Bella informs James that he will not be here once he passes away, despite his desire to be here indefinitely. James starts swimming across the ocean after Bella turns him into a gigantic caterpillar the following day. After that, he crawls for decades in a desert. A huge snowstorm that lasts for ages arrives. James eventually reverts to his true form one day. He finds the pink cottage in the midst of nowhere after an unending journey. Buddy is waiting for him when he goes inside. After everything he did, Buddy is upset that James deceived him and chastises him for his lack of gratitude. In the actual world, the house starts burning quickly. The pink home begins to move during the dream, and everything inside starts to fall on James from above. Bella finally shows there and reaches out to the unconscious James just when it looks like there is no hope left. She wakes him awake by putting the vibrant headpiece on his head. Buddy starts to transform into a hologram at this point, and then vanishes. A sizable send-off party awaits James and Bella as they exit the pink chamber. This encompasses all of Bella's dream figures, including the Blue Devil, Pirate Rats, and the Frog Waiter. Peter also shows up out of the blue and tells his mother that he is sorry for everything. Although Bella appears content, James believes something is amiss. A beam of light then slowly raises them off the ground as Bella takes James's hand. The two appear to be getting along just fine when James suddenly witnesses Peter's head changing into a wolf. He and Bella are split up and changed into golden balls of fire, drifting apart before he can comprehend what is going on. Bella exhorts him to resist the disintegration of their bodies and awaken before it is too late. Bella instructs James to land on the ice cream cone after he claims to be melting. Then the crumbling James tumbles into the same ice cream that, upon his arrival at the house, older Bella had offered him to lick. James ultimately awakens in the real world at this point and discovers the house is on fire. He goes outdoors right away and saves himself. However, a few moments later, he puts himself in danger once more and goes inside to seize Bella's cassette, her headpiece, and her cherished turtle, Sugar Baby. James steps outside and observes with sadness as the Strawberry Mansion burns down in front of him. James is shown watching the tape Bella gave him in the city a few days later. It depicts a young Bella standing next to the grass man at a tomb. After their romantic encounter, Bella finally removes the grass from his torso, exposing James below. As the film comes to a close, they are seen strolling hand in hand approaching Strawberry